An alleged medical doctor sees an advert for a property on sale. He calls the owner to purchase the property. They speak over the phone and meet to bargain, and eventually an agreement is set. But the doctor has other plans, deadly ones, and the businessman completely oblivious to the danger lurking ahead. This will cost him his life. He who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have. So great. Chief Ignatius Odunukwe was said to be a philanthropist as well as a serial entrepreneur. For those who are familiar with fireman generators, he can be credited as one of the biggest distributors in the tree. Successful as he was also described as a man who was kind, humble, and very helpful. On the 1st of December of 2019, Chief Odunukwe left his family for a business deal that was to happen in Atikan Beach Hotel located in Ajah. He was to meet up with a man who wanted to purchase a property from him. Sadly, this was the last time he was seen alive. Daniel Ibiaji, a 42-year-old medical doctor, he is a native of Ogu, Enugu State. He claims to have received his MBBS from the University of Edinburgh in the United Kingdom. He also claims to be a member of Royal College of Surgeons. Daniel can be described as a man stuck in his ways and one motivated by greed. It leaves one to wonder how a man who spent the best parts of his life learning to heal the sick, to provide healthcare for the invalid, turned into a murderer, and Chief Ignatius wasn't his first victim. He was alleged to have been earlier arrested for forceful custody of one Jude Ifule, a real estate developer in Abuja. Mr. Jude was lured to an unknown location under the guise of payment for a property Daniel had alleged that he wanted to buy. However, things didn't pan out as he had initially anticipated. Upon his arrival, he met 3 people. He was reportedly locked in a room and forced to sign a check of 9 million naira. 2 of the 3 criminals went to cash the check at the bank, leaving one behind to watch the victim. The criminal assigned to watch Jude left the room briefly, and Jude locked himself in and started shouting for help. The criminal on watch duty came back and tried to gain entry, but was unsuccessful in his attempt. Eventually, he broke into the house through the roof, but the residents in the area had already been alerted. They notified the police and gathered outside to watch and detain the culprit while awaiting the arrival of the police. Mr. Jude was lucky, witty, and very brave, and he was able to walk away with his life. This case resulted in Daniel being taken to jail. It was there that he met 30-year-old Cletus, a man who would become a member of his gang, who also happened to be serving jail time in the same prison. Israel Obiaga, age 35, the third known accomplice, and finally a man named Arinde Uzo, a 26-year-old man and also an employee from Atikan Hotel where it all went down. Sometime in 2019, Dr. Daniel had seen a property being advertised for sale in Katampe in Abuja. This piqued his interest and he approached the building, expressing his interest in it. The gate man called the boss to notify him and was instructed to give his contact detail to the potential buyer. Daniel reached Chief Ignatius on the phone, telling him of his intentions. On September of that same year, They scheduled a meeting and met up to discuss further. The negotiations went well and eventually, the sum of 900 million naira was agreed upon. On the 1st of December, Daniel and Chief Ignatius were to meet up in Atkin Hotel to close the deal. The paperwork had been drawn up, but this transaction had to be dealt in cash. Chief, however, agreed and showed up at the venue alone. He was taken to Daniel's room where they discussed some more. Eventually, Solomon Cletus brought the bag and handed it over to Chief to see. The contents of the bag are unknown, but at the time, Chief probably thought it was the money they had agreed upon. He bent down to take a look at the contents, but was hit behind with an axe. He was a fighter and didn't go down as anticipated. He struggled and he fought back. Daniel instructed his accomplices to hold him down firmly before injecting him with diazepam, a drug which is used to treat anxiety, muscle spasm, and alcohol withdrawal. He was then dragged into the bathroom before being strangled to death. Daniel claims that the doses of diazepam wasn't the cause of his death, but instead insists that Chief Ignatius had died as a result of the heat on his head. Chief Ignatius' body was then carried out through the hotel laundry when it was dark to a vehicle that was parked at the back door of the hotel. His body was taken to Ogumbo Forest, where it was dumped into a canal. Chief Ignatius' family grew worried when he didn't return back home. They called all his known associates and were able to find any news of his whereabouts. Eventually, they made a report to the police. The police were able to trace Chief Ignatius' 4Runner SUV, which was tracked to the hotel. With investigations ongoing, the matter began to unravel, and it wasn't long before Daniel was tracked down and was apprehended by the police in Abuja, and in his possession was a document of Chief's property tying him directly to Chief's disappearance. The police now had 4 persons in custody in relation to Chief Ignatius' murder. They were Daniel Ibeaji, Solomon Cletus, Israel Obiaga, and Arinze Uzo. Chief Ignatius wasn't Daniel's first murder. Following the investigation, it was discovered that a week prior his first meeting with Chief Ignatius in Ibeaji Hotel in September, he met up with a politician from Bayelsa State, late Honorable Depologa. Just like Chief Ignatius, he expressed his interest in buying a property located in Durumi area in Abuja, and the agreed sum was 220 million for this transaction. But the Honorable was never seen or heard from again, and his wife left the country in a hurry after the remains of her husband were discovered along the Abuja Expressway. She was petrified and vowed never to return back to the country. When asked by the media what the motive for the crime was, he said, and I quote, "I was lost. It was lost for material things. I was lost for money," unquote. The case is currently ongoing in Apple High Court, and a sentence is yet to be reached. We hope if found guilty, they are punished to the full extent of the law. Chief Odunukwe was a husband, a father, brother, and employer, and he was killed in the most tragic of manner. We hope his story serves as a cautionary tale and a lesson for everyone to be more careful and prudent in their dealings. We pray for his family and hope that they find the strength to heal from this loss. May his soul rest in peace. Share your thoughts and comments with us in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. For more content like this, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Remember, stay safe and stay blessed.